Hi, I have some information from the BBC News website in the UK, in the science section. Now, for those of you who don't know, the BBC News is a United Kingdom news, major news thing. I'm going to have a link in the description below. Okay, now the title of this article is World's Oceans in Shocking Decline, and it is a shocking article. Now, you can read the article for yourself, but the message of the article is that, as it says on the tin, the world's oceans are, ocean life is in shocking decline. Now, before we get started, I'll just make this clear. Now, the article does state that this is a rapid, recent decline of sea life, and even talking about extinction level sea life, declining at the rate of extinction, right? And this is a recent thing, so let's just clear that up. We're not talking about a long period of time over many decades or centuries, how sea life has been slowly, getting depopulated. No, we're talking about something quick, sudden, recent. Okay, the fish deaths. This should be of no surprise. I mean, what about since the start of 2011, mass fish deaths in the millions? Not to mention the bird deaths and mammal deaths, and various species upon the earth have been dying in the thousands of millions. Okay, just the fish. Lots of fish deaths, but that isn't mentioned here in the article. I just thought I'd throw that in because it's just kind of piecing it all together, isn't it? Okay, so back to the article. So we're talking about a very sudden thing here. Now let me just read some of this. It says the oceans are in a worse state than previously suspected, according to expert panel of scientists. In a new report, they warned that ocean life is at high risk of entering a phase of extinction of marine species unprecedented in human history. Very powerful. Okay, let's read on. They conclude that issues such as overfishing, pollution and climate change are acting together in ways that have not previously been recognised. Okay, well, this is the kind of thing that you'd expect, isn't it? Obviously, with a situation like this, there's obviously going to be the mainstream explanation, be it true or untrue. You're going to have an explanation because people are going to obviously want an explanation. So, of course, it's going to be climate change. Everything's to do with climate change, isn't it? Okay, so climate change, pollution. Okay, yeah, pollution's pretty feasible. There is lots of pollution. Overfishing, I don't buy overfishing. I mean, think of it. Now, this Earth that we live on, right? 2/3 of the planet Earth is ocean, right? Now, I would say that ocean life is like way more than human life. I mean, like, we're talking, the majority of the planet is ocean life, isn't it, really? Think about it, right? I don't think we're capable of overfishing. Maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure I'm going to get comments to that comment that I just made, but I don't think that we're capable of overfishing, when it's us versus them. That's what I think. Okay, so, let's read on because it gets interesting as we go down, and I'll point it out in a second. Okay, so it says that the impacts, they say, are already affecting humanity. Now I've got a comment. Okay, now many people think that the oxygen that we breathe is a result of the rainforest, and people say, the rainforest is being cut down and it's going to affect the oxygen. Well, yes, but what people fail to remember is that what is the most important thing for the air we breathe is the oceans. The oceans are termed as the lungs of the earth. The oceans are paramount. They're the more important thing for our air. Okay, so let's just read on here. The panel was convened by the International Programme on the State of the Ocean, IPSO, and brought together Experts from different disciplines, including coral reef ecologists, toxicologists, and fisheries scientists. Its report will be formally released later this week. The findings are shocking, I quote. Right, that's a quote from Alex Rogers. The findings are shocking. IPSO's scientific director and professor of conservation biology at Oxford University. And I quote again, as we considered the cumulative effect of what humankind does to the oceans, the implications became far worse than we had individually realised. Still quoting here. We've sat in the forum and spoken to each other about what we're seeing, and we've ended up with a picture showing that almost right across the board we're seeing changes that are happening faster than we thought, or in ways that we didn't expect to see for hundreds of years. Okay, remember I told you this is a sudden, recent thing. Okay, this is what the article's saying. These, quote, accelerated changes include melting of the Greenland and Antarctic ice sheets, sea level rise, now wait for it, and release of methane trapped in the seabed. Earth changes. The Earth is undergoing change. Skeptics are saying, the Earth isn't changing, you know, there's just more media coverage, you know, there's still the same amount of earthquakes, there's still big ones, it's been going on for hundreds of years, thousands of years, there's still volcanoes, you know, and all these Earth changes, all this freak weather, it's all happened before. They even go so far as to say that the fish deaths and the animal deaths and the bird deaths are normal just because they've happened in history. Alright, they forget the fact that we're talking like major increase in frequency and in numbers. Alright, okay, this article just affirms, it confirms, and this isn't a good thing. This is not a good thing. Ultimately it will be good, but that's another thing, because the Earth is changing and we're going to enter into a new age, a golden age, and this is what Mother Nature needs to do in order to cleanse the Earth and for humanity to learn a few lessons and to move into a brighter future. But you know, it's not good right now. It's not good right now. Now then, so Earth changes, yes. Fast changes is the subheading of this part here. The rate of change is vastly exceeding that which we were expecting even a couple of years ago. Alright, said oh goodness me, a foreign name, Ove Gildberg. I do apologise, I can't pronounce that properly, but you can read the article for yourself. And that person is a coral specialist from the University of Queensland in Australia. Okay, so quote, so if you look at almost everything, whether it's fisheries in temperate zones or coral reefs or Arctic sea ice, all of this is undergoing changes but at a much faster rate than we had thought. Okay, so the article goes on, and you can read the whole article in its entirety yourself. It just goes on, talks a lot more about climate change. There's a whole lot more about climate change. Okay, but here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the thing. Climate change is a big subject these days. You know, being green, climate change, the Earth is heating up, blah blah blah. And yes, this is all true. But do you know what you're failed to be told? You know, there's a big thing being missed out, is that it's not the Earth alone that is undergoing global warming. All the planets in the solar system are experiencing global warming, and there are planets within the solar system whose ice caps are melting. Now, the last time I checked, there was not 6 billion people polluting other planets within our solar system. So, is global warming attributed to us polluting the Earth alone? Well, I'm sure polluting the earth accelerates global warming, but it's certainly not the main culprit of global warming. For the simple reason that the other planets in the solar system would not be heating up as well. So, there you have it. Confirmation of Earth changes, scientific report of the fact that the oceans are rapidly changing, sea life is dying quickly, these things are happening. Now, why am I releasing this information in my video? Is because things are moving toward the end of the age. The Earth is coming towards the end of an age and the dawn of a new age. And things are going to get worse before they get better. So, you need to be prepared. The first key is preparation, knowledge. Knowledge is power. Have the knowledge of the fact that these things are going on. You need to be awake, you need to be aware, and you need to be getting prepared for your transition to the new age, for ascension. So anyway, have a read of the article and see what you think.